Okay, what we'll take a look at next is just adding a dummy root so that we can group all of our protected roots together and just apply a single root guard that's going to cover all of these. And we'll head back to VS Code, and what we need to open up is our app routing module, which I'm already in. And the paths that we want to protect are all of these ones I'm highlighting right now. And there's nothing to stop us adding the auth guard onto all of these. But just for the sake of demonstration, what we can do is I'll just add some curly braces above our existing paths, and I'll add a new path, and this is going to have just an empty string, and then we're going to say run guards and resolvers, and this just defines when the guards and resolvers will be run. And for this case, we want to run on every execution. So we'll use run guards and resolvers, and we'll specify always. And then we'll specify the can activate inside here, and we're going to use our auth guard for this. And then we're going to specify children of this root, which is going to be an array of our roots. And then we can just copy, or cut in this case, and paste these roots inside the child root there. And that means all of our children here are covered by this single auth guard. So what we should find is that if I go back and take a look, and I'll just refresh the page, then when we click on any of these, we're going to see the toast to say that we're not authorized to get inside there. And let's just log in again as Bob to make sure that we can genuinely access all of these roots when we are authenticated. And if we click on the lists and the messages, everything works inside there. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So what we'll do, we'll head back to our nav component just so that we can add our check inside there, because we don't really want to display the links if the user doesn't have access to them. So what we'll do is we'll just grab, or we'll just copy our check from the div down here, and we'll just apply this back into our UL element so that all of these links inside here are going to be hidden. In fact, we won't do it that way. What we'll do, because there might be other links that we add that we do want an unauthenticated user to access. And one thing that we haven't looked at yet, but we can look at, is the concept of the Angular container, or the ng container. And what we'll do, we'll add this ng container thing that I've just mentioned, and we'll cut our list items here and paste it inside there. Now this ng container doesn't actually generate any HTML, and it's a very useful thing to do if you want to apply a conditional to something, because it's not going to interfere with any of your styling because it doesn't generate any HTML. If I go and I'll just cut this off once again, and if we go back and take a look at the content inside our HTML, then what we'll find is that if I just right click and inspect the navbar, then we can see our container, and we can see our unordered list, and then we can see our list items, but what we don't see inside here is that ng container. Or we do, but it's just a comment here. It doesn't actually generate any physical HTML that we're going to see inside here. So what we'll do is we'll use this ng container to hide or not display the links inside here. So I'll just copy this line of code once again, and I'm just going to apply it to the ng container instead of the unordered list. And if we go back and take a look, then I'm still logged in, so of course I see all of the links, but if I log out, then the links disappear. So the ng container is normally a better technique for when you're using conditionals because of the fact it doesn't generate any HTML and it won't interfere with any of your styling when you use it. So what we'll take a look at next is we'll brighten up our app, and we'll add a bootstrap theme to do so. Okay, what we're going to do in this particular lesson is we're just going to brighten up our application. And one way we can do that quickly, simply and easily is to use a bootstrap theme. Now if we take a look at bootswatch.com, this provides free themes to bootstrap, and we can just download and make use of these and see an instant change in our application. And they've got a bunch of different themes to choose from, and you can get a view and a preview of any of these different themes inside here, for example. So we're going to install this, and then this gives us options of different themes that we can use. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our terminal, and we need to cd up to the client level here. So we'll cd and again until we get to the client folder. And then what we'll do is we'll use npm install, and we'll install boot swatch and press return. And this is going to make all of those themes available to us inside our application. And once this is installed, then it's pretty simple to use this actually. All we need to do is go to our angular.json file, and then all we need to do is just apply the styles after the bootstrap style sheets. So we'll just add it underneath our date picker one there. And what we need to do is go up to node underscore modules / and then boot swatch / dist / and the theme that I'm picking for this, but feel free to choose your own from the different options you have on the site we just looked at. And then we specify bootstrap.css. And of course, because we've made a change to our angular.json, we always need to restart our Angular app before this is going to take effect. So I'm just going to run ngserve once again. And once this has recompiled, then what we should see is our app magically change. And let's go take a look. And if we take a look at our app, then we can see that our navbar has changed, and we've got our different theme with the different colors going on here. Like I say, you can experiment. I'm just going to stick with this theme for what I'm doing here, but I do want to make the navbar a bit brighter and make it the same color as our register button there. So what we can do is we can head back to VS Code. We'll go to our nav component, and instead of BG dark, we can change this to primary. And if we take a look, we should see that this is now an orange color, very bright, I admit, but it's made our login button look a bit rubbish. So what we'll do is we'll just head back and change that particular button, and instead of an outline success, which doesn't work so well with an orange background, we'll just change that to success, and that stands out a bit more. What we'll also do while we're here, I'll just log back in as Bob again, is instead of saying welcome user, let's display the user's actual username on here. So what we can do is we can go back to our nav component, and where we've got our welcome user, what we can do is get the user value from our current user property here. Now what we could do, and what we should be able to do, although VS Code previously has never ever played nicely with this, is we can surround this in parentheses where we've got our ng if statement here, and what we should be able to do is say as user. And lo and behold, VS Code has finally fixed this functionality. This used to cause all sorts of problems, even though it's valid syntax inside our HTML. I'm going to need to lie down because this has been this way for years, and it's finally, during a demonstration, has actually worked, and it even shows it as a different color. I'm going to have to pause the video whilst I get over my shock. Well done, VS Code. Anyway, what this means is that we can now use this property as the user inside our code, just like any other property. We've now got it out of our observable, and now it's usable as just our user. So what we can do is say, instead of welcome user, we can say welcome user dot username. And if we go take a look, we should see that Bob is now displayed in our navbar. And what we can also do is use an Angular pipe so that Bob doesn't show as lowercase, but we show as title case. So what we can do is, and we can do this with any property really, the Angular pipes give us some functionality, and one of the pipes is title case, and what this will do is take our username. In fact, it's pretty obvious what it's going to do. So it's going to give Bob a capital letter for his name. Okay, we're making progress. We still don't have much in the way of functionality, but it feels like we're making some kind of progress. What we're going to take a look at next is a little bit of housekeeping so that we can tidy up our app module, and we'll take a look at that next.